Hey guys, today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to go through kind of my top big fixed blade knives. When I say big, bigger than an EDC knife, something that I'd carry on a primary hike or more likely on a camping trip or in a truck knife. Started off with 5. I think I've come out with a few more than 5. But starting off, we can even call this an honorable mention. This is a very unique knife. This is the Kizer Polaris, which is an Azo design. And they make this knife in several different configurations. You can get it with a traditional grind. You can get it without this weight relief. They call this a specific type of technique, and it slipped my mind. But it's basically to balance it out and to keep stuff from sticking to it. But this is a chisel ground knife. It's a bushcrafting knife. It's got a G10 and micarta handle that is jimped from not only the handle, but all the way up the spine. And then you've got a nice exposed pommel here. So if you're driving stakes in the ground, tent stakes, or if you have to crack a coconut or something. And then you've got these lashing bolts, this one being a termination area for a bow. If you're going to start a fire with a bow and a stick, you can have that as your termination pivot point, and it just works very well. It's a great hacker. It's a great cutter. I wouldn't look at this as a brush clearing knife per se, but in terms of using it as a fire starter, as a knife that you can cut food with, prep food with, super sharp. That chisel grind is half the grind that you normally be working with. So it's actually the geometry, even though it looks odd, is very efficient in its cuts. So I could see this for chopping down saplings, for cutting food, for opening packaging, for just doing more heavy duty camp tasks, digging, whacking stuff with the pommel, whether that's driving stakes in the ground for a tent or a little shelter. It does have a nice lanyard hole. I think I pointed that out earlier. Nice sharpening choil. Heavy knife, full-size knife. So this is probably going to be, I'm guessing, on the small size of our kind of full knife exploration video that we're doing today. But this guy's going to come in at 9 inches roughly, which is more than what I'm going to be carrying on the daily. This knife is such a survival knife that they even pack it with a little diamond rod on the side of the sheath in case you needed to hone that edge up. Now, I'm not going to be doing that because I've got better ways to keep that edge honed, Kyle Coonley. But in either case, big knife. Don't carry it on the daily because it's not, to me, an EDC knife, but it is a very formidable camp tool, and I really like it. I like the chisel grind. I didn't think I would at first, but it cuts so well. And if you're feather sticking or working around a fire, trying to make shavings, trying to make tinder, it's a great knife for that. The sheath has really good retention. Well under $100, the Kizer Polaris. So I think we're going to go in size. We're going to go the next one up. That way none of them are favorites. None of them get used a ton because I don't do a ton of camping, but I have used them beating on all kinds of materials around my yard. This is the HX Outdoors Rock Apex. This knife surprised me as much as any I've gotten in because HX Outdoors reached out to me and wanted me to check this knife out. I wasn't that interested because I'm more of an EDC knife guy. They said, you think you're going to like it? We like your channel. I was honored that they liked the channel. I said, sure, I'll be happy to look at it. They were kind enough to send it along, and I'll tell you, it is a fantastic knife. It's called the TD18B is this model. It's in a material called DC53, which is kind of a supercharged D2, kind of is my understanding. Minimal branding, has HX Outdoors on one side, has a maker's mark here, which is also carried over on this back pommel here. You've got this number, which I guess is a serialized number on this full tang constructed knife. And then you've got a really nice 440C pommel for driving those stakes, doing things like that. You've got a compound grind tip, even though it's a drop point. But this would be a fire starter, a chopper around the fire, a whittler, a hard use cutter, a prier if you needed to. This is a beefy blade. The enhanced kind of tip that it has makes it very robust. The blade stock on it is very robust. It's got an extremely sharp edge right here in the center. You can see that right here. So what that's for is in the sheath, you've got this Kydex little ferro rod keeper. And you line that up and you're throwing sparks, baby. See that? All from just taking that little ferro rod, which stores right here, and it's not coming out. Very sharp blade. I've chopped wood with this. I've cut cardboard with this knife. It's still slicing paper with very little resistance. It's got a little, no rolls, because I've checked it for rolls, but it's got a little area right here. I don't know if that's tape from when I was cutting down some Amazon packages. Yeah. Very nice knife. They also make this in a DLC coated. This is not DLC coated. And this is under 80 bucks, I think. It's under 80. You can get this knife for a little bit more, under 200 in CPM 154. But I love the design for the ferro rod. I love the robust blade. I love that thick tip. I love the size of the knife and the weight. Even though it's skeletonized G10, it's still very formidable. It feels like a, lack of a better term, a Rambo type tool, because it does feel heavy in my hand. The sheath retains it very well. It's not going anywhere, and it has the addition of this retention strap and a dangler sheath. Really nice package. Great camp knife, great hiking knife. I'm a fan. Moving on up the chain, we come to one of my favorites and another very pleasant surprise. Another knife that I was lucky enough to have sent to me by Olive Knives. They wanted me to check out this Arbor when it first came out. It's got a very unique grind. It's called a Fibonacci grind. If you Google Fibonacci sequence, it's a numerical sequence that's it's well over my head, but it deals with lack of consistency and how that leads to order. And if you look at the grind, there are several different grinds on this knife, which is allegedly to help it pass through materials more readily. This guy has got a crown spine to about right here, and then the entire front is sharp. So I can strike a ferro rod. As you can tell, I've stricken several. This guy is an L-Max, so it's really going to be stainless. It'll be a great bushcrafting knife. G10 with a little bit of kind of stippling dots, which give it just a little bit of texture where it's not slick. A very beefy knife. I think you could use this as a diving knife if you wanted to. But it is a cutter. It is a wood destroyer. It's a great whittler. Like if you've got a challenge stick or you've gotten a sapling and you're trying to cut a bunch of different notches in it, this guy will work through some material. That Fibonacci grind gets on out there in thickness. Just to give you an example, this blade stock comes in at 0.183. So right, under a quarter of an inch. So it's very thick, very strong, very meaty. You've got a tool in your hand, and just a beautiful knife in my opinion. Could use a little stropping. I will probably sharpen it at 21 degrees, maybe 22 when I get down to it. I'll try to match that factory grind. But you can tell you've got a flat right here. And then, I'm trying to see where I can get in the camera. Then you got these little varying between about 1/4 and a 1/2 inch where it rolls out, where the grind rolls out. Really neat, really unique. Fantastic sheath. You've got a tightening. If you need to cinch this up here, it's Kydex. It holds extremely well. It's not going anywhere. And it's got this nice vinyl loop that you can mount either horizontal or vertical like it is now. Great knife. The Olive Knives Arbor. Moving on, we come to my favorite and the only USA made knife in this group. This is my TRM Redline fixed blade. I think this looks like a camp kitchen knife that will do so much more. It is beautiful. You've got this micarta handle with red G10 liners. You've got this really nice broad stock of full tang 20 CV. You've got TRM, USA, and 20 CV right there. And the little TRM logo just kind of hanging out in the corner there. But you've got a super, super nice thin grind. This knife is a slicer. I would not chop with this knife. You could baton with this knife. You could do some light batoning with this knife. You could do pretty much anything else you need to do with a camp knife. I would basically focus on feather sticking, prepping food, getting this knife to work around the fire, around the food prep area, and really just for anything else you need to cut setting up camp. It doesn't have a pommel per se, but it does have a lanyard hole, and it's probably going to be the sharpest laser beam in the bunch. That's just because it's a tall flat ground TRM, and they're kind of known for making laser beams. So I'm sorry that I've locked into this therapeutic slicing, but there's just something about pulling a paper diagonally across this TRM Redline fixie. It's a fantastic feeling. Great knife. Big fan. The TRM Redline fixed blade, even though it has my least favorite sheath out of the bunch, it's by far my favorite knife out of the bunch. I carry it on my belt just like I did when I was a kid dove hunting with my first little case fixed blade. This guy carries well. It's long. It dangles. It's got a fantastic handle that locks your hand in because of this swell right here in this choil. I think it's just a mad win, and that's the TRM USA made Redline fixed blade. We're moving up a little larger, people, and we come to another budget knife, and these just happen to be the big knives I have. As y'all know me, if you've been around the channel, I don't seek out big knives. I do test out big knives, and I keep the ones that I like. This one I really liked when I got it. This is a knife that Kizer sent me to check out. This is their Camp 180 is what it's called. It reminds me more of kind of like a modern marine trench knife. It's just got that vibe in terms of the saber sword looking blade here. You got a nice clip point, really nice swedging up top. You've got this really nice stonewash finish, minimal branding. You've got the Camp 180 AEBL steel, the maker's mark. I forget who the strategic collaborator is there. And then Kizer on this end. Great reverse grip. Very well balanced, full tang constructed knife that is just an absolute beast. I apologize, I didn't measure those last couple of knives for you, but they're right around the size of this one. This one's about 10 1/4. I think the TRM is right around 10. This one does have some jimping, but it's in the G10 cap that caps that tang that comes through there. But this guy is a thicker grind. It's not going to be as slicey as the TRM, not nearly, but it's still going to be very much an able cutter. You're not going to be cutting paper around the campsite. You're going to be cutting harder materials, denser materials, and this knife, I would put it through anything, car doors included. I mean, it's just an absolute beast of a knife. Has a great reverse grip, would make for a great chopper if you're trying to clear saplings, if you're working around the fire, trying to get some tinder started. It doesn't have a spine that's going to work very well for striking a ferro rod, but most of us carry a couple of lighters before we ever get to our ferro rod, so don't let that slow you down. Has a really nice blade guard here. Nice neutral handle with a little bit of lateral grooves cut into it just to give you a little bit of traction. Kydex sheath. I keep these tech locks on these guys because I've been wearing a duty belt for my pew pew, and these aren't bad. When you take these little pins, these come with, anytime you get one of these sheet, word to your mother, you're going to have a couple of these pins stuck in here randomly because they're designed to fit depending on how wide your belt is. If you've got an inch wide belt, you want them spaced an inch apart so that it goes right over your belt and it doesn't have much movement. So I've got this set up at the full, right over an inch and a half, and it works great on my duty belt. I could put other methods of carry on this knife if I wanted to, but again, when you get bigger, pocket dropping is not the optimal way. And you do have an adjustment for the Kydex here. However, it came out of the box very tight, no rattle at all, great retention. Moving on, we're almost done. We're going to come to the second to the biggest, and the biggest is really just a, yeah, I'd take it camping, but it's not one to really show. This one here, however, is the biggest Kizer I own. They sent this out to me, and it blew my mind when it came out. I thought it was a kitchen knife when I saw the box. This is the Drop Bear Fix 7 from Kizer. They make this in a couple of different steels. They make it in AEBL, and they make it in 1095. This one's in 1095, treated 1095. I have chopped all kinds of stuff with this. The edge has held up very well. I don't know if it's going to cut paper that well, but it hasn't rolled. It hasn't chipped. This knife is amazing for several reasons. You've got perfect jimping that incorporates the tang as well as the scales, so your jimping comes all the way through. You've got about half of the blade heavily jimped, not painful, but very, very heavily gripped. You've got this forward finger choil that has jimping liberally placed in there so that you know that's where your hand's supposed to be. Your finger casually moves up to the further jimping. You go back, come to the jimping here. Your lashing bolts are hollow back here so you can get a lanyard in, and you've got this concave bolt for those of you who can start a bow fire. Me, not so often. Azo design, you've got this nice blood groove swedge here, a nice spear point blade, just a beauty. Guys, this is a big, big knife. It is going to come in, I'm thinking the blade must be 7 inches for it to be this Fix 7. 6.5 is how long the blade is. The knife is 11 3/4, a smidgen over. And you've got this nice 1095 pommel coming through here. So if you have to go reverse grip on this guy, it gives you a good place to put your thumb. But more importantly, if you've got to use it as a driver, that will definitely drive some tent stakes. Big old knife, a lot of fun, a bruiser. I'm not a huge fan of 1095. I wish it was AEBL, but man, I'm happy to have it, and I'll beat the crap out of it till it won't beat anymore. You've also got this forward lanyard mount, which I think is genius because a lot of times I like to have a knife like this with a little wrap that goes around my wrist so I can put the knife through the wrist. It's not going to slip out of my hand, and if it does, it's not going to go flying. That is the Kizer Drop Bear Fix 7. Lastly, and I wasn't going to add this, but I thought it's crazy not to, If I was going camping, this is going with me. This is the Flissa, I want to say 12-inch Bowie. We'll measure it. But it comes with this sheath that has a diamond sharpener. It has a ferro rod. Keep those in there because they're a pain to get in. It's got a really good edge. I want to say this may be 440. It may be something different. I'm not exactly sure, but it's treated. It's got a rubber handle. It's under 25 bucks. Just a knife that you could get out of the car. You're getting ready to set up the tent. You've got to hack down a bunch of shit. This would be it, you know. I like machetes. Machetes are great, but this is more fun. Looks cool, and it will do everything that machete will do around the campsite for me. It still cuts paper. It's not going to have the sliciest edge. The geometry is a little thicker, but it cuts. And it's got that pirate point. Looks like a small sword. Flissa's a imported company. They sell a lot on Amazon. That's where this one came from. Again, I think it's about 20 bucks. Really nice. Rubberized handle. And again, this canvas sheath is unique than that it's got a Kydex or plastic insert. So you see this lip right here. This goes all the way in the sheath. So it's really just got a canvas cover and a Kydex sheath. And then it locks in with that snap there. But guys, that is Javon going camping. Doesn't happen often. When it does, you can bet your ass he's going to be carrying probably a couple of these knives with him. At least one. I mean, I think there's a great place for a bigger knife, a camp knife, and I can't think of any better place than camping. So that's what this video was. It's just kind of to show you the big guys in my collections, the ones I've held on to, the ones that I know one day there's a very good chance that I will use them camping. When I go camping, I take knives with me. I definitely take knives that I can go out and work with, because I think that's what we all like to do. I like to cut a lot more than paper, guys. It's just, unfortunately, my urban lifestyle doesn't always afford me the opportunity as much as I'd like. But when I get out, you can bet your ass I'm cutting a bunch of stuff. But guys, thank you for watching. A little different video. Javon with big knives. It happens. Big knives are cool too. They deserve love. Guys, you deserve love. Channel members, you all deserve thank yous and love. I appreciate you all. Anyone who comes in to watch my knife and EDC content, thank you so much. If you're so inclined and you get a chance, please hit that subscribe button and that bell notification icon down there. The analytics tell me that most of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. I know it's a little hassle to click it, but it's helpful. It also lets you know when I release videos. Hit the like button on your way out if you don't mind, and leave a comment if you have a question, or open that comment section and hit that hype button. It also helps the channel. Guys, thank you so much. Please do me a favor and look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.